Alright guys, so this is going to be my end of the year eyeshadow palette declutter. Please excuse the scratches on my hands, that is from my cat. So we're going to go through all these palettes. I don't have quite as many as other beauty influencers, but we're going to go through them and see which ones I want to declutter. So let's get started. Alright, so the first palette up is my Morphe 39S Such a Gem palette. And I love this palette. I love the purples and pinks and burgundies in here. This is right up my alley. I don't use this one as much as I want to, probably because it's a thing like, oh, I love it so much I don't want to use it. I don't want to use it up. But I really need to use it more. So that is going to stay in my collection. We got the Colourpop Lovebird palette. This palette was limited edition and I'm still using it. I still love it. It's got some pressed glitters in there. And I personally like pressed glitters. I know not everybody does, but I'm going to hang on to this for a little while longer. Next, we've got the Oolala Colourpop palette, the Monochromatic pink palette. And I don't use it all the time, but it's still a really good palette, and I'm going to hang on to it for a bit longer. My next palette is the Urban Decay Stoned Vibes palette, and this is fairly new. It was just released this year and I love this palette. I think it's gorgeous. So I'm going to hang on to this one too. This is the ABH Noir Vena Mini Pro Pigment palette volume 3 and I really like this palette. The color story is a bit different. Not everybody digs it, but I really like it. And unfortunately I haven't had much of a chance to use this like I've wanted to, so I'm going to hang on to this. This palette is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Bling Boss palette. I love purple, but honestly, I am quite over this, so I'm going to be decluttering this one. So here I've got the Juvia's Place Masquerade mini palette, and I love this palette. It is so good, very pigmented. The colors are beautiful. And I honestly don't use this palette as much as I want to, which is sad because it's such a great palette and I did get it at a discount. I got it for $15. I think it actually retails for $25, but I'll be hanging on to this one. So I've got the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, and I believe this is one of their best palettes they've come out with. The shimmers in here are just so good. I've hit pan right over here. And I'm still using it, but I'm kind of getting a little bit bored with it too. So I think I might put this in a maybe pile. Yeah. California Love by Colourpop. Oh, I love this palette. Every time I use it, I love the look I come up with. It's beautiful. Love the warm neutrals in here. There's a pressed glitter. That's awesome. This shade Diego is amazing. If you don't have this palette, I highly recommend it. So I'll definitely be keeping this one. This is my Tati beauty palette. I still have the sleeve for it. And I don't know where Tati went. I hope she's okay. But I'm definitely not getting rid of this palette because it is so gorgeous and it performs so well. So I'll definitely be hanging on to that one. This is the Lit palette by Colourpop. It was a collaboration between Colourpop and Bretman Rock. And while I love this palette, I do not use it very often at all, which is really sad because it's a great palette, but I'm still going to hang on to it for a little while longer. This is the Wet palette that also goes with the Lip palette. I use this one a little bit more than the Lip palette, so I'm going to be keeping this one. So this is my Kesha Rose palette. And I got this for Christmas last year and I absolutely love it. The color story is so colorful. The shadows are very pigmented. They perform very well. I was shocked actually by the quality of this. So I'm definitely going to be keeping this one. Jeffree Star. What can we say about Jeffree Star? Honestly, I don't know. But what I do know is that I paid quite a pretty penny for this palette. So I'm going to be hanging on to it. Unfortunately, I haven't used it like some of my other palettes as much as I wanted to, but it's still gorgeous. The colors are very pigmented. The palette performs really well, and so I'm not going to be getting rid of this one. So let's go to Sweet Talk by Colourpop. I love this palette, and I've used quite a bit of it, as you can see. I have like 5 shades there with pan. Side to Side is such a beautiful Super Shock shadow. Look at that. Oh, I can't even deal with it. I think I'm going to put this in a maybe pile just because it's kind of beat up, though I don't want to get rid of it. We'll see how I feel at the end of this video. So this is the Mcgrath Rose Decadence palette, and I got this kind of recently when it first came out, and I'm really enjoying it. It's only 6 pans, but honestly, I love the looks I'm coming up with. So I'm going to hang on to this one because I did pay like $65 for it. So I'm going to make sure that I use this up pretty good. So this is the Good Sport palette by Colourpop. And I'm not sure. I really like it, but at the same time, it was a fall palette from a couple years ago. So I don't know, it's kind of dated. Plus they discontinued it, but I kind of want to hang on to it just because they did discontinue it, and it just performs so well. So I think I'm gonna hang on to this one. Yeah. We're getting down to the last bit of palettes, and this palette is the Warrior by Juvia's Place. I got this palette for $10, which is insane. And if you know Juvia's Place, you know that their formula is kick ass, and it just performs so well. I love the gold looks that I come up with when I use this palette. So I think I'm definitely gonna hang on to this. The Soft Glam palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. My palette is so beat up. I have hit pan in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shades out of the 14. And it's just really well loved. I hate getting rid of this, but I know that I have to do it because it's such a wreck. So yes, unfortunately I have to say goodbye to Soft Glam. So I'm decluttering this one. What is left? Okay. It's My Pleasure, the purple palette from Colourpop. I lost this shade in my fiance's car. It totally just crumbled everywhere, and I just finally hit pan on this shade. I love purple. It's right up my alley, so I'm gonna hang on to this one. Born to Run is an Urban Decay palette from a couple years ago, and I've used this quite a bit, but I haven't hit pan in any of the shades yet, which I'm kind of confused because I feel like I've used it so much. I'm not sure if I should hang on to this one or not. I'm totally not in love with it anymore, so I think I'm gonna put this in a maybe pile. The Huda Beauty Naughty palette. I just got this, so I'm not gonna declutter this for a while. I love it. I think it's beautiful, and I highly recommend it to anybody that is looking to purchase it. This is the Juvia's Place Walhalla palette, and even though I don't use it like I want to, I still think it's too new to get rid of. So I'm gonna hang on to this one for a while longer. Okay, we've got 2 palettes left. One of them is Berries and Cream by Dominique Cosmetics. And I've hit pan on a couple shades. I'm starting to get a little bit bored by the palette, to be honest with ya. So I think I'm gonna put this in a maybe pile. The last palette is my Mcgrath Divine Rose 2 palette. I bought Mcgrath for the first time this year, and this is her, and I love this palette. It's so beautiful. I paid a good amount of money for this, so I'm not decluttering this. I'm gonna make sure that I use up the eyeshadow down to the pans. So I'm going back to my maybe pile now, and I don't know what to do. This chocolate gold palette, I think I am going to hang on to. The shimmers are beautiful, so I'm gonna try to use up some more of this one. My Sweet Talk palette, it's such a wreck, but I think I'm going to hang on to it just because I love it so, so much. Who am I kidding? I'm just gonna hang on to both of these. I'm gonna hang on to Berries and Cream still. I have the plastic protector sheet in every palette. And I think I'm gonna hang on to Born to Run too. I just still have so much product in here. I can't bear to get rid of this. That's just wasting product. Okay, so out of 25 palettes, I decluttered 2. Soft Glam by Anastasia Beverly Hills and Bling Boss by Jaclyn Hill. Is that bad? Out of 25, I only threw away 2. Is that bad? Let me know. Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, guys, and hope you have a great 2021. Love you.